Claire is with me, former Conservative government advisor. Claire, how are you this morning?
Yeah, all good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I think we just got to start with Trump. There's there's so much to talk about. Let's have a little clip first. The letter from President Zelensky. Could there be peace in Ukraine on the horizon? Things seem to have slightly defrosted a little bit in their kind of relationship. Let's see what Donald Trump told the joint session of Congress last night.
Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Wouldn't that be beautiful, Claire?
Well, wouldn't it just? I mean, that was really the Donald Trump show. I didn't stay up and watch the whole.
It was on at 1 a.m. We don't blame you on that one.
No, I didn't. I mean, it was an hour and 40 minutes of Trump doing his finest. I mean, I think everybody wants there to be peace. Everybody wants some kind of resolution to the situation in Ukraine.
Are we closer, do you think?
Not necessarily. I think we're perhaps closer than we were last Friday when it all broke down horribly in the Oval Office. But it still remains to be seen whether the minerals deal will provide the security Ukraine needs. What pressure is Russia going to put on? Is there any chance of the territory taken being given back? I'm not sure we have the answers to those questions at the moment. So I think it remains to be seen. It's always the devil is in the detail. But I think this is a start, and I think Zelensky is certainly backing down because he realises quite how much is at risk for his nation if he does continue with this war of attrition with the US.
It is interesting how many times he has paid tribute to America. He has thanked America, thank you America, many times. Of course, J.D. Vance accused him of not thanking America.
Yes.
He's certainly done that a lot since then anyway. Let's have a look now at one of the Democratic politicians who wasn't happy with what Donald Trump was saying. His name is Al Green.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
That is Al Green, who is a Democratic congressman from Houston in Texas, being removed from the chamber. Trump still a very divisive figure, Claire, and the things he was saying were quite divisive last night as well.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And this is going to be interesting going forward to see what does happen, because there are Democrats who are incredibly angry, who don't like being lectured by Donald Trump. He is the president, democratically elected, and I think at some point you have to realise that you're going to have to get on with this and you're going to have to work behind the scenes to see what you can do as a Democrat. But you can see that quite a lot of the measures that Trump is putting in at the moment are going to be very, very divisive. But I have to say that order in a chamber is very important. Like you, been at the House of Commons a long time, and we've seen it when there's applause in the House of Commons. That's not the right thing to do. Yep. We don't like that, and if somebody is out of order, they do need to be removed. But I think that this plays very nicely into Trump's playbook of all of these people are just against me and they're wrong, and I'll deal with it.
And many people will agree with that. What do you think? 0344 499 1000. Thanks to Steve, who says if Trump and Zelensky sign a deal and Putin buys into it, will Starmer, the EU and the mysterious coalition of the willing try to veto it? Well, that's a very interesting point, certainly where Europe is as well. I just want to play one more clip just for the moment about Elizabeth Warren. He calls her Pocahontas, which is his nickname for her, but there's quite a lot of information and thoughts from Trump as well in terms of the level of aid that United States has given Ukraine.
With no end in sight, the United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense, with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that.
It's almost pantomimic in a way. There is applause, there's boos, there's people being thrown out.
Yes.
This is not very seemly, is it?
But it's the way Donald Trump does politics. It is a show, it is a spectacle, it is him at the centre with the cast around him, and he's the one who's out there, you know, conducting the orchestra, and people are buying into that. And I think people like that. The American people certainly like it. That's why they voted for him in their millions. They want to see that kind of leadership, and they haven't seen it for a while. And we all know that the cult of personality does tend to win in the beginning.
And he has points as well, Claire, doesn't he? I mean, he's talking about the huge amount of aid that America has given Ukraine. He wants some of that back, and many of the American people want it back too.
They do. They don't understand why they are suffering with a cost of living crisis, for example, which does happen in the States as well as in the UK, and they want to know why billions of dollars are being sent over to a country very far away for a war that seemingly cannot be won. So I understand that. Security for us is a bit of a different story, but you can see the American people want America first, which is what he promised, and this is what he's trying to deliver. So you can't take that away from him. I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan, but the American people want to see where their dollar is being spent, and this is what he's doing.
It's interesting you mentioned that, actually, about the cost of living. I was chatting to American friends yesterday, actually. We had a Zoom, and they were saying, I mean, they're pretty comfortably off. They're retired people, and they have enough money, they have a nice house, and they say they just don't go out to eat anymore. They just don't go anywhere out to eat. And actually, I was speaking to another friend who's just back from America, who said that a Big Mac meal in New York is $18 for a Big Mac meal, which is just, you know, these prices are incredible, and you can see very clearly why people are having these very, very big issues about America first, and how important it is to have food that's affordable.
Well, exactly. And when it comes to the really basic things that we take for granted, a carton of eggs in America was somewhere upwards of $8.
Yeah.
And you think, well, that is absolutely ridiculous. And you can see why people aren't going out to eat, but also why they're having difficulty finding fresh food to have indoors. So, I mean, it is a crisis.
Have you seen the memes of the hens? Have you seen them with the little Gucci handbags and everything?
Exactly, it's the golden eggs.
Quite literally the golden eggs, yeah, exactly. I just want to play one more clip. This is an interview yesterday on Sky News of Steve Bannon, who is, of course, very close to Trump, a bit of a Trump outlier, and a former advisor to him. And he was speaking to Sky News yesterday about Zelensky. This is a really interesting thought from Steve Bannon. I wonder what Claire thinks, and I wonder what you think. Let me know. Let's have a look at this.
Zelensky's a punk. I find offensive your chyron that Zelensky's ready to deal with the United States. I think people to the right of President Trump and people around President Trump, maybe not inside the White House, are strongly advocating absolutely no security guarantee, no minerals deal. Call the bluff of the EU, call the bluff of the United Kingdom, call the bluff of Macron. Let you guys step up, which you haven't to date, and actually do your fair share, if you want to, in Ukraine. We've had...
I mean, there's a lot in that quite a number of people will not be too happy with. The UK should do its fair share, for example. Zelensky is untrustworthy, he's a crook and a punk, and he showed what a punk he was in the Oval Office the other day, Mr. Bannon told Sky News. What do you make of this?
Well, that is his opinion, and he's perfectly entitled to that. I don't subscribe to it. The one thing I do think he's got a point is that the EU, including the United Kingdom, have been lax on defence spending. And I think it's right that that's addressed, and this has brought it to the fore. This is is why you've seen so many EU nations and the UK look to increase their defence spending. So if we get one bonus out of this particularly awful situation, it does mean that our defence is going to be a lot better.
And that's what Trump wanted, isn't it? It's interesting that, about 3 weeks ago, what President Trump wanted was increased defence spending, and he also wanted us to at least talk about peace in Ukraine, and that was 3-4 weeks ago. He's been president for 5 weeks, and now we're doing that. Now the world is doing that. He's essentially got what he wanted.
He has, but this is the way he does it. He makes the situation look so severe that we have to actually react and do something, and then he just sort of walks away and goes, yeah, here you go, I'm the hero in all of this. You know what, if it does us a favour, I think that we need to suck that up. We really do, because defence spending has been abysmal for at least a decade, and we need to understand that just because we're in peacetime doesn't mean that you don't invest in the forces and the equipment that you have. So that's got to be a benefit to us as a country. And the EU, likewise, their spending has been slowly downwards, but people are realising that they do need to find that money. But President Trump is always going to be the one with playing the strings of everybody, I'm afraid. But in this is right. If you want to be in the club, you've got to pay your fees. You've got to be a joiner if you're going to continue.